Hello, everyone. I hope everybody's doing good. I'm Katrina, and this is Sow and Tare, our weekly live chat. It's Monday. We do this every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, and it's a whole lot of fun. If you are new to this, I'll tell you what to expect. I read through the comments. First is going to start off with a lot of hellos and highs. That's good. Tell us where you're from and what you're growing. And if you have any comments or topics of discussion, issues that you're having, something you want to share homestead related, go ahead and put that in the comments. And it's all good. It's all good. We'll get to the questions in order and go from there. So first off, I guess I should ask you guys if you can hear me, because this is my second time using StreamYard. All right, you guys are saying where you're from, so that's good. Good. See, hey, so I'm guessing you can hear me too. All right. Cool. I am going to scroll back up to the top and we're going to get started. Hey, Eric's here. Good to be here again. Absolutely. Absolutely. You're here really early. Really early. And you're leaving church, be back after. All right, got to get in. We'll see you later. Ed's here, third like. Hi, Ed. Hope you're doing well. And Dawn, oh my gosh, second like. Goodness. And you'll be back later. All right. Good. Welcome. Uh-oh. PJ, I hope everything's okay. You had a horrible day. Hopefully we will make it better. I hope everything's figured out and that everything's better. And fourth like. And Verna's here, Vay's Place. If you are at all interested in doing homesteading, growing food inside, Verna grows all of her stuff at her apartment. And check out her channel for that. And she says, got a few more minutes before dinner is ready. After this, I have to head back to work. All right. You're talking to yourself? No one was answering you? That's okay. Good to see you here. And JJ's here. Hi, JJ. Welcome. Hi, all. GTSY. I'm not good at these things. What are those acronyms? Away from keyboard. I got that one. Got it. Welcome. And Buster's here. Hi to all. Hi, Buster. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Kelly's here. Feather Connections Homestead. Hi. Awesome. Vern is back. Everybody's saying hi to each other. That's good. You guys always talk before I get here, which I'm fine with. And Vern is going to be having mock wings in a few. So anybody doesn't know what mock wings are, they're quail legs. So like hot wings, but they're about the same size as hot wings, but they're actually quail legs, and works out pretty good. Lots of people, when they do process their birds, they'll save the breasts and the torso area or the breasts separate from the legs, and then they'll use the legs like you would use chicken wings. So yeah, because quail wings you're probably not going to use. So there's literally about that much meat on the whole wing. Yeah. Yep. And Don says, hello from South Central Illinois. I grow lots of things. Yes, you do. Sounds good. Awesome. Thanks, Verna. Thank you. And thank you for helping me set up things. Do you guys notice there's something missing? Anybody know what's missing? I don't know. Points to whoever sees what's missing. I don't know what it's towards. It's towards nothing. It's towards having more points. We'll see if people notice. Southwest Ohio is from where Verna is from. Hey, BC's here. Welcome. Thanks for coming. And PJ's in New York. And PJ was on my first ever Katrina's Kits Cook With Me live. And I know some other people forgot that it was happening. So I know that I think at least a couple people have seen it. Watched the replay. If you are not a Katrina's Kit, you can't see it. But if you are one of Katrina's Kits, you can see it and you can watch the replay if you missed it. And if you join another month, there is a playlist that I made that only members can see. So I will put the link here to join if you would like to join. And we have several people on here that are members. So awesome, so awesome. And I hope we had. I mean, PJ and I had a good time. As Erica showed up for a little bit, and I think some other people. I got messages from 2 other people that were like, "Oh, I forgot." So I hope it's good. But yeah, we had fun. And Steve's here, Mississippi Delta in the house. Welcome, Steve. And JJ's back. All right. Uh-oh. PJ, you're in a hotel? I hope your house is okay. If you've been messaging, I haven't checked messages, but I hope you're okay. Yeah. Bob's here. Good evening. Good evening, Bob. Welcome. Everybody's saying hi. BC knows some Nightbot and StreamYard. I'm getting started with my StreamYard, so I'm good where I am right now, but thank you. Oh, GTSY is good to see you. Thank you, Verna. Verna, I do think you need to put together, so people would buy a book of acronyms. I think you need to put together a book of acronyms with like examples that are fun. You know how they have like dictionary examples that are like really boring sentences? You could have examples that are like actually fun or funny. I think that would be really a blast. All right. So Bob Bob raises quail at high elevation, 7,000 feet plus, higher than 7,000 feet elevation. And so he has a question to Steve. Did you find info on high elevation or lower oxygen? So yeah, so that is a really good question. I'm just guessing that that's what it's related to. You can tell me if it's not. But hatching at high elevation is something that Bob is experiencing as he goes, right? Is that right? You're learning as you go. And that's super high elevation. So that is very interesting. I also would wonder what your pressure canning would be like if you're pressure canning stuff, because it only has a couple categories. I'm assuming you can do it at super high elevation. But hopefully you find answers. Peacock feather. Berna, I don't know why you said peacock feather, but I like them. Oh, this? Is that what you're saying? This is the peacock feather? It's right there. Gas line. Missing gas line. Why are we saying random things? Did I miss something? Hopefully we're not missing a gas line. Oh boy. Yeah. Hopefully everybody's okay. Lisa's here. Welcome, Lisa. Lisa is from Southern Indiana. Awesome. If you have something going on, questions, go ahead and put them in the comments and you'll see. And PJ says it was an awesome cooking live. Awesome. PJ, I was going to ask if you wanted to come on if I send you the link, but I don't know if you're having a bad day. I don't know if you want to do that. Let me know if you want to do that, and I will send you the link. But yeah, we had an awesome time. We made potage bonnevolé, which is a navy bean soup, and made jalapeno poppers, which is an oven variety that is non-breaded. That's super yummy. That goes really well with the soup, even though it's a different category of food. I think the flavors mesh. And the other thing we made is we prepped our pumpkin glop. Yes, because that's the name of it, because that's the sound it makes when it goes into a bowl. It goes glop. But we prepped that for next month's Cook With Me live for Katrina's Kits members. And that is going to be a pumpkin pie. We're going to make pumpkin pie from scratch, but we did the first part first. We don't have to do that. So we did an awful lot. And like I said, the replay, you can watch the replay in the playlist for members only if you're a member. Yeah. Oh, apparently it split my comment into 2. Did it do that on... I'm on StreamYard. Did it do that on YouTube too? That's interesting. All right, everybody's saying hi. And Steve has an answer. to Bob's question, I know on most I read kept saying get eggs local, nothing new except the oxygen issue. Then I got distracted with other stuff. So maybe it has to do with local, like, I mean, that makes sense, because if you have local, if somebody else is hatching something that's local, they're adapted and they've grown to be adapted to that area. It probably has a similar thing as plants, where over generations and generations they get to be adapted. Wow. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Oh, Verna says, oh, and the heart. Okay. Shh. You already know this. You told me how. Let's see if anybody else got it. Okay, Steve says, hooray, no heart. Yeah, Verna taught me how to do that last night when I was setting this up. So thank you, Verna. It's so weird. Like, they could do that kind of thing and make it in a less distracting way, and in a better location where you can actually read the comments, but they don't. So there you go. There you go. Oh, PJ says, house is fine, just no furnace. I have a portable heaters though. Long story. All right. Well, PJ, you prepped. We're not quite to topic of discussion yet, but we're going to get there soon, and you'll have to share what you did. I mean, you end up in a hotel, I guess. Yeah. So Silver Creek is here. Howdy, y'all. Howdy. Don's listening and working. That is okay. You're good, Don. And Bob says, except for one hatch I won on a live stream, I incubate my bird eggs. But how long have your birds been there? Like, is it a generational growing in that area? I don't know. I'm just wondering if there is something to do with that. I have no idea. Good luck. Oh, JJ says, my kitchen sink leaking situation has been solved. I started fixing it, and then hubby jumped in and finished it. He bought a brand new garbage disposal. I now have a working kitchen. Awesome. Wow. JJ, that is awesome. He's probably afraid you're going to call him out on here. No, that's awesome. So those that have not seen it, I do have a how to fix a leaking faucet video that I did. When I do that? A few weeks ago. And JJ was just like, I'm going to do this because I can. So good job. It's not as hard as it looks, or as you might think it is. And if you take pictures or video, then you can put things back together. Yeah, there we go. Something is missing from the back of the sofa. No, it isn't. What's missing? I have my badges. I don't know. Can you help me with my watch hours? Yeah, I mean, I think putting videos out is a good way to do that. And BC, I don't know. I know you help people with StreamYard and you're helping people with Nightbot. If you make videos about those things, I think that will help you a lot with your watch hours for sure. Yeah. Hey, Eric, just super sticker. Thank you, Eric. Thank you. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Verna brought food for herself, but not anybody else. How rude. I hope they're good. JJ said, right, Steve, I thought that is what she said, unless she meant the obnoxious heart over the chat, and that's gone. Yes, that's what it is. Yep. That is exactly it. Okay, so almost 8,000 feet is where Bob's at. Bob's at 7,800 altitude, having better hatches, except for last one, humidity got up to 83. The baby's drowned. Oh no. I'm sorry. But you're getting better, right? You're getting better, so you're dialing in something. I think what you should do, Bob, is have you been keeping a notebook of what the changes are that you're doing and how they're affecting things? Because I think that would be really handy to have and to be able to share with people, so that when you hatch at high elevation, you're like, here's my experience. you guys can skip 2 years and do what I did. Like, that would be good. Yeah. Yeah. I think that'd be good. Steve's giving hearts because I can still do it without hiding the chat. Aw, thank you, Steve. Oh boy. Yeah. And JJ's laughing. All right. And BC's thanking people going to a chat. Awesome. Awesome. People saying hi. Steve says, if I worked as much as Dawn, I could get something done. Sometimes you just need to relax. Like after work, I literally laid down and watched YouTube videos. I needed a break, and it's Monday. Come on. Oh boy. Everybody's saying hi. That's good. All right. Bob says, I started last year with a breeding quintet from Southwest Game Birds, except for TOF group. All my eggs, Southwest Game Birds, is low elevation, but they have been great. Lately, I get 5 eggs daily from those 4 hens. That's good. Okay, so you're saying that might not be the issue, is what you're saying. That's what I hear. That's what I hear. Hey, Folster Farms. Hey, Mandy. How you doing? Welcome. Are you feeling better? I hope so. PJ's saying hi to everybody. Oh, I did not see. Oh, that's what was missing is the peacock feather. It's right there. I just brought you guys closer. Be really close, right? Yeah. That makes sense. All right. Everybody's saying hi back to Verna. And Verna's saying, well, if you all were here, you could have some. Aw. That's nice. That's nice. Yeah, so BC, you said I gave you a good idea for making videos. Yeah, the same thing that you teach people when you talk to them on the phone or teach a friend. That's, I think, what you should be doing is doing that, and then also using your keywords in your in the section where it says, I don't remember what it's called, but the keywords, making sure you fill that out. And I think there's probably a lot of people that are looking for those things, and you can do them in different ways and show different things. So I think that would be really helpful. And that's something I think for content in general, I try and do this. And I think I've gotten better at it as time goes by, is I'm talking to my friends, right? I'm talking to you guys. Like, so I know some of you guys personally now or had before. And so I'm talking to a person or persons. And so that's what you want to, it's not that you're portraying that you're doing it, you're actually doing that. So you want to talk to a person because that person is on the other end. Even if you start small and you're talking to that person, the information you give one person is just as valuable as the information you give 100 people. So keep that in mind, is if you're trying to get started and the information that you have is valuable and you want to pass that on, that's, I think, important to treat the camera like a person, because there's a person there. They're just not there yet. Yeah, it's an interesting process for sure. Yes, Mandy is Folster Farms. Yep. Okay, Bob, you are charting. That's good. That's good. I would like to, when you kind of get it dialed in, I would like to see how, like, what changes you made or what you found worked or didn't work, because it's very interesting, because like I said, I know, water boils at a different temperature different, I think it's temperature at different elevations. And when you have to boil things, not water boil. It's not a different temperature, is it? It's in any case, to sterilize something, it's 10 minutes at sea level with boiling water, and at elevation, you add so many minutes per 1,000 feet or something like that. You guys will have to wait. You guys will have to look that up. But that's it's an interesting thing, because I'm sure that affects other things. So just as the moon affects the tides in the ocean, which is crazy, right? Crazy. It also affects the water in the plants and the water in our bodies as well. So I know there was one time when I was wanting to grow vanilla, which I still want to do, but then I'm in a really dry climate and it requires humidity and it has to be 20 feet long before it can flower, and then you hand pollinize it, and I gave up. For now, I need humidity. But when I was looking up that, I found it very interesting because the vanilla it's an orchid, and it basically it vines, but it's not a tendril. It basically it has aerial roots that attach to a tree. So it attaches and it grows way up into the canopy. Well, you can't hand pollinate way up in the canopy. So what they do is they let it go up for a little bit, and then during certain moon cycles or moon periods, anyway, I don't remember if it's waxing or waning or where it is, but I know it's something that they pay attention to. That's when they take the vines down so that they can go up and, they can zigzag up and down a tree. And the reason for that is during certain moon cycles, the leaves bend, and then certain moon cycles, instead of bending, they break. So they want to remove them and take them down the trunk when the plant is bendy, not when it's going to break. So I'm just saying, like, there's a whole bunch of different things out in the world that affect life differently, and elevation is going to be one of them. And you're dealing with elevation. So I'm just very curious about that. Yeah. Folster Farm says, I had a few different personas over the years. Uh-oh. Yep. And Eric says, face red, heart shape. Okay. Yeah, the heart is missing. Oh, I guess those are emojis that I can't see in StreamYard. But you're doing emojis. And it's a I don't know what it is, but it's good. Hey, Ed's here. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Ed. Good evening. And Folster Farm says, I love me from Verna. Yep. She's good. She had lots of information. If you're on her live, ask her questions, because she has all this information in her head, and you got to ask her so that she's like, oh yeah, here's the answer. And she's tremendous amount of knowledge in there. Thank you, Verna. Oh my gosh. Steve, are you going to do a heart with everything you say? Just because we're missing the heart. Says needs caffeine. All right. Verna says it means springborn, vernal equinox. All right. Dawn says, hey, I am just shopping on Amazon, getting my list of stuff ordered. Dog is out of pumpkin seeds, so I'm getting everything I need and listening. Awesome, Dawn. Well, pumpkin seeds are going to be pretty free soon. After Halloween. So after Halloween and after Thanksgiving, put on your local, if you have Nextdoor or Craigslist, or I don't know what the other things are out there, but on your local online communities, say, hey, I'll pick up people are going to be doing pumpkin carving soon. So you might as well say, hey, I'll take your pumpkin guts, and then you can do your own thing. I think it's free. Don't have to go to Amazon for that. And then actually pumpkins, a lot of people decorate with whole pumpkins, and the jack-o'-lanterns and stuff, you can feed those to your animals. Just remember to take out the wax. But a lot of people decorate with whole pumpkins, which you can keep that almost for the next year, and use them throughout to feed your animals. So that's something to think about. And you can stock up on your own pumpkin seeds. There you go. Freebies. Ed's going to make dinner. Uh-oh. We're in your head. You're in your ear. Da, 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 da. Mandy says, no, but Dan is enjoying the silence. Uh-oh. Keywords. What do you mean? When you do a YouTube, you go through your thing, you have your description, and then you go down, it says see more. You click that, and then down below that is, I don't remember what they're called, but there's like a box that you can put words in there. So that's like if people are searching a word, that's what you use. So that'd be good. Here you go. PJ says the pumpkin seeds, I forgot, are yummy. Awesome. So PJ decided that she was going to make pumpkin seeds, baked pumpkin seeds, while we're doing all these other things, because her oven was freed up, and made that at the same time. So we had a really good time. Oh, Eric, you have a bunch of smiley faces. Oh, Erin's here. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Erin. I don't know if I saw you guys have an end video for your greenhouse. Is it done? Did I just miss that video, or did I watch it and forget I did? Yeah. How is it going with it? Hopefully it's doing well for you. Hello. And hello, Guido's Family Farm. Hi, Christina. She says, hello, friends. All right. Everybody's saying hi. And Steve is going to put a heart every time he talks now. All right. Everybody's saying hi. It's so funny on StreamYard. I don't get the emojis, but the emoji that Steve just did says goat, turquoise, white horns. Oh, exactly. When do we see the finished greenhouse? So it's not just me, huh? Not just me. Yeah, my greenhouse is sitting out in the back like it has been for several years. It is a couple of big windows and some doors that's been leaning up against the side of the screen-in porch for a very long time. And I'm sure it's going to be easy to put together. I just it hasn't been on the priority list. Yeah. I'll do it eventually. Eric's back for more. Scientists discovered bugs living on the moon. They named them lunatics. Good to have you back, Aaron or Eric. Good to have you back. Ed says I can fill something with a total of 6 cc of 2-part foam at sea level, but Kelly has to double that to get the same volume of foam at her elevation, Utah 4,000 elevation. Interesting. So those that did not understand what Ed just said, Ed makes this wonderful jewelry, and one of the things he does is he does egg necklaces and egg earrings, so for quail eggs, and he cuts a little hole and then fills it with a special foam. And apparently Kelly needs to use more foam than he does. That is interesting. There you go. Oh, okay. Yeah, Bernie, you're helping BC out. Thank you. All right, people are still saying hi. Steve says, I just wanted to ensure you didn't miss the hearts. That's sweet. Dawn says, Katrina, they just took 1 pound bags for raw organic from $7.99 a pound to 12 ounce bags. Oh, they're doing shrinkflation. They're doing shrinkflation on you. I'm sorry. Like I said, I think, make that your last order and then go through your neighborhood and say, hey, who's carving pumpkins? I'll take the yucky stuff and then dry it out. And there you go. I think you could collect a whole year's worth of pumpkin seeds in probably a weekend. Yeah. That's a dream there. I don't know what the dream is. That's okay. Oh yeah, and hashtags. So Verna says hashtags too. Yeah, I haven't used hashtags to the extent that I should, but that's okay. Bob says, we had a couple pumpkin seeds in the garden, but they were small. I cut them in half and gave them to the elk last night. Gone this morning. Bob, I think you could feed everything to your elk. These sound wonderful. Yeah. My pumpkins, so PJ saw them, and anybody else, I don't know. I think Mandy rewatched the video, but I had 2 pie pumpkins, one this big, and the other one was like this big. And ended up getting from 2 of those, 8 1/3 cup of pumpkin glop. So I have one recipe makes 2 pies, and so that's almost 3 recipes of pumpkin glop. And So that's almost 6 pies. So that's pretty good. And when you make 2, you usually have a little left over. So it probably is really 6 pies. So there you go. There you go. Aaron says with a sad face, I got a sad face on that one. Don't know why I got that emoji. The greenhouse is on hold at the moment. We just have too many things going on. So it's not a priority. The temps are in the 80s right now. I understand. There are a lot of started projects around here too, for sure. And Christina says the same thing. Aaron's been really busy at work, but hopefully soon. Good. Eric is on it. How do you mend a jack-o'-lantern? With a pumpkin patch. You're funny. So Bob is saying barometric pressure affects different kinds of foam. That's interesting. Berta says this stuff is good. I'm gonna guess it's your quail eggs. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Dawn. I'm sorry. She says, no, Katrina, there are no people, no kids in this town, no great decorations, nothing. I'm homebound and have enough to do, especially with the dog food. Well, sometimes you have to choose the easier choice, I think, then. Yeah. Maybe you could say that you accept deliveries. Get something. You might get something. Steve, you're funny. We will be carving 15 pumpkins on Sunday. We'll have lots of pumpkin guts. So you're going to send them to Dawn? Are we making a deal here? That's a lot, but you have a lot of grandkids, so that makes sense. Yeah. PJ says, my goats and dog ate the skins from the steamed baked pumpkins yesterday. Yeah. So she went out and milked her goat while we were having things cook. And during that time, they ate the skins of the things that were just cooked, which is very cool. Very cool. So Ed's describing the foam. It's a 2-part foam, A and B. Not sure what it's made of. Yeah. Eric says, I'm not allowed to make breakfast puns in the morning anymore. My wife said so. I can't just be walking on eggshells anymore. My dad eggs me on. What a ham. Oh, boy. Fulster Farms says, great way to find the relevant keywords or video idea is to go to Google, begin typing a sentence. Google fills in auto is a great keyword to use. So how to build a quail blank keyword idea video. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Yeah. So that's BC. I'm not likely to make that video, but BC, if you want to take that idea, I think that's a great idea. To keywords, find keywords. Yeah. Ed says, check the pumpkin vendors. At some point, they will want them gone. Yeah, but then she'd have to go get them. Yeah. And Don says, I think 5 hours twice a month is enough time to spend on his food without running to other cities to get rotten pumpkins to have to process just to make his food. Okay, we get it. Verna says, I'm done. Lucy's finishing up what I didn't eat. Awesome. Hopefully it's good. Eric says, I have a joke about pumpkin guts, but it's visual. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the topic of the day, which Steve requested and which it sounds like PJ is experiencing right now. So Steve had a request last week that we talk about what to do during a power outage for power, for your heat, really. And so PJ's solution is to go to a hotel, it sounds like, which is viable. That's a viable option. But if your house is really cold and you want your pipes not to burst, you might want to do some additional things. And then I know people have all sorts of ideas. So if you guys can put it out there, what do you do if you don't have let's say you have electric heat only and you live in an area with winter. What do you do if the power goes out and you need to stay warm? What backups do you get right now before it gets cold? What backups do you use to water your animals? Because feeding animals generally are fine. Watering your animals is going to be a little different. If it gets high, if it gets really cold, your animals might need extra protection. What do you do? So that is that's the topic of the day. And PJ, you did not have to go so deep into this assignment as to experience it yourself. Oh, so let's see what people say. We jumped. Demo Publican. Okay. Hi, host and chat. Welcome. Do you grow anything in your area? And if so, what do you grow? Welcome. And PJ said, I was told to go. Luckily, not cold enough for pipes to burst. Good. Because that would not be good to come back to. And I know Texas had a big issue with that a while back. Silver Creek on here, if he's still on here, can talk about that, right? Yeah. All right. And okay. PJ says, I do have portable heaters, but not allowed to use them. Are you not allowed to use them because of the indoor danger? Some of the older ones have a danger for the exhaust being indoors, and you're not supposed to use them indoors, or some of them, you're supposed to have the window open or whatever. I would encourage you, if you have an older unit, make sure that you are using it safely and read the guidelines, read the pamphlet that comes with it, and maybe look online to see what newer models of the same brand are doing, because that might be helpful to you if that comes up. A lot of them also have an anti, I don't know what to call it, like it's an anti-tipping thing. So if it's upright, it's fine, but if it falls over, it will turn off because it doesn't want to set the carpet on fire. So that's something to look at. I think probably all the ones that are out there now probably have that, but I really don't know. So some of the things that, if you're in a winter area, I would say look at, number one, solar. Now, if you guys know where you live, you guys know the winters that you have, whether or not solar would help you or not. Solar does not work as well when it's cloudy than when it's sunny. So sometimes places have winter that have blue sky, and sometimes places have winter that is super, super cloudy, and it wouldn't make sense to go solar. So I would say judge that on your own. Another thing is to keep backup generators or backup batteries, so you can plug things into that, and make sure if you do that you also have a converter if you need it. So the idea behind some of these is not to buy it, have it in a box and put it on a shelf. Buy it, read the instructions, operate it, continue to operate it every once in a while so you remember how to operate it in an emergency, and have the manual in a place that you know where it is. If your product has a manual that is online only, print it out. Have a binder that has your manuals in it, or keep it with the unit. Just one or the other. Don't try and do both, right? Either keep them all in the same place or keep them with the actual product. So there's lots of different kinds of generators out there. There's lots of, there's propane generators, gas generators, generators that you can plug into a wall and charge before, the charge will hold for a while. So that's a good idea. I know there are also things like electric charging, like jump starters. So I know Manuel got one of those from Costco, and it was like $70 or something, and it jump starts your batteries for your car. So that would also be something handy in just kind of in the same topic. But whatever you're doing, make sure that it's safe and that you don't cause yourself death with carbon monoxide poisoning, because that is a danger and is deadly. So let's go up and see what people said. Go up and see what people said. All right. I can't say your name. Demo. I'm going to tell you Demo. You don't have a garden. That's all right. If you would like any information about gardening and you're curious about certain things, or you're curious about raising animals, go ahead and ask questions. And yeah, questions are good. Eric, you're being funny. It's a new person. Be nice. Bolster Farms says, so when our power goes out, we have a wood stove to kick into gear, water for us and animals. So yeah, so that's nice. You have that in place. So part of the problem that we were talking about last week was places that wood stoves are illegal, like they are here. You're not allowed to put in any new wood stove. Now, I suppose you could, like, I know I used to camp with someone in a canvas tent that we had a little tiny wood stove. It literally was like this big by like this big, and it heated a canvas tent, and that would be really handy to have just for heat. But using it inside, you would definitely need a stove pipe, piping, so that you wouldn't fill your, so that you don't die. But that is also an option, is to get a small portable wood stove. I think that, Steve, that might be a good option for you if you have the ability. I don't know how you would get the stovepipe to be a stovepipe that goes out, other than cutting a hole in the screen, or taking out a screen and blocking up with wood, maybe, and have that pipe go above your roof line so that you don't have any embers. That would probably be the most reliable, but then you'd also have to have wood. So that is another thing. So yeah, that was part of our sticking point, was if you're currently relying on electricity and you legally can't have a wood stove put in, which we're in that situation in California. And I know a lot of people are in that situation, where they're not allowing additional wood burning stuff. Yeah. And PJ says, I am a family care provider for the state. Our guidelines are ridiculous. Oh, okay. Yeah. So you're in order to remain a family care provider, you have to follow certain rules. Yeah. Well, it's unfortunate that a heater can't be one of the things you can use. Yeah. Okay, good, Demo. I didn't know if Eric was going to be funny or not, so I didn't read out loud. So there we go. Now we know. You got good attitude. Bolster Farm says hot water for us and animals. I think that's what I read, if that's not what you typed. Yes, so PJ says brand new heaters, yes, anti-tip and touch safe. Yep, they don't want you to burn yourself or your house. Dawn says, I have backup natural gas fireplace and my oven, whole house generator, and when gas is not available to be bought, I have a battery backup on wind generator, solar panels in box storage. Little buddy. Awesome. Wind. That's something I had forgotten about. Yeah, you can have a wind generator. I actually was at a place once that part of their power was a wind generator because they were in a really windy area. And the propeller that did it was only like it's the middle here. It was only like that big. So that's very interesting. Yeah. I'm thirsty today, guys. Dawn says heater. So you have a separate heater. Okay. Bob says, I just bought another Big Buddy probably for the greenhouse, it has a tag on it that says indoor safe. Okay, Big Buddy. I need to write this down. Big Buddy heater is. I don't really want to type Big Buddy into a search engine. Okay, Big Buddy heater. Okay, that looks good. Says indoor safe. That's good. Very good. And Verna says, Katrina, multifamily or places that house people are not related, states have ruled against portable heaters. Interesting. I mean, if you're in an emergency, though, I'm not telling you to break the law. I'm just saying, if you're in an emergency, I would choose heat. Yeah. Don says, Big Buddy and Little Buddy have been used in RVs for decades. Awesome. Good to know. Good to know. And Don has a background in this kind of stuff, so that's good. Andy Rabbit's here. Hello. Hello, Andy Rabbit. Welcome. So JJ says need an inverter too. Yeah, so exactly. So make sure that whatever you get hooks up with whatever you have. Like, that's just the story. We don't care what it's called, what this or that. You just need to know this hooks up with this and it will work. And that's what I mean by testing it and knowing how to run it. Yeah. Everybody's saying hi to Andy. And Dawn says, any place that rules against me getting heat in my house can rot. Just like gun grabs. Oh my gosh, come and try it. Yeah, I would say, you know, if you don't have power and you're going to freeze to death, heater is better than no heater. There you go. There you go. Andy's saying hi. JJ says most electric generators will not run heaters or only run them for a very short time. Okay. Is that because they take a lot of electricity? I have not done this research. This is just something that Steve had requested. I thought that was a really good idea to talk about. Where I am, I would be fine. It would get cold. It's only ever gotten down to 22 degrees here so far in the last 10 and a half years. So I would be fine. And the animals would be fine. They are fine now. Their water, if it freezes, is fine within a couple hours of daylight because the tubing that I have in there is a 1/4-inch tubing that's connected to the faucet. And so that, it melts really quickly. So I don't worry about that. However, if it did get hot, or if it did get too cold, then I would give them bowls of water and they'll be fine. And actually for the quail, I wouldn't do bowls of water. I would take their old feeders, which is actually in my main aviary tour video. That's the old feeders, which I use in the brooder actually. But I would use that for water. So yeah. All right. Bob says, Dawn, I know we used one in our Winnebago when the built-in heater had an issue. Okay, cool. Eric just got home. Welcome home, Eric. PJ says, unfortunately, I am overseen by the state in the care that I give the people that live in my house. Yeah. Dawn says, I know people here don't know they are totally safe. Okay. And Bob says, I like the Big Buddy 3 levels output, 18,000 BTU is pretty impressive. So is the Big Buddy a battery run or gas run? How is it run? What is its fuel? Because that's something else to think, is that if you have something that is fuel related, whether that's propane or gasoline or diesel or something else, you have to have a place to put it. You have to have a place to store it, and you have to have enough to get you through that time. Yeah. Don says, we can't have wood stoves, but if it came down to it, they can come try to stop me. Yeah, I have mixed opinions about the wood stove, new wood stove bans. Like, I understand why, like here, I understand where they're coming from. It pollutes the air. It really does bad things for our climate. It really does bad things for our lungs. In some areas, it just sits. But here, it makes sense a little bit because people will have a fire just to have a fire and not for warmth. And you don't, like, you go outside and you smell smoke and you're like, it's not that season yet. What are you doing? So I think if people are using it for heat and it is a good source of heat for people, I don't know, I have mixed feelings. So there is no clean energy. All energy has a cost. You just have to decide what you're going to destroy, right? Anyway, Andy says, what's up? What's up, Andy Rabbit? We are talking about sources of heat in a power outage situation that's like long-term power outage. If you do not have a wood stove, and your only heat is electric, what do you do? That's what we're talking about right now. Topic of the day, a little early. So Fulster Farm says our wood stove is outside on the front porch. Another way to stay warm is upside down terracotta pot and a candle. We talked about that last time. So you put a few candles, few of the tea light candles underneath the terracotta pot, flower pot, and that will heat an area. And you might have to do several to heat a whole room. That's kind of what the consensus was for the people who have done it. You might have to do, many candles underneath, but many to heat a whole room. But it definitely works. I've done it, but I've not done it I've done it to see, okay, yeah, it works, but I haven't oh, is it actually heating this room? I didn't do it while it was, cold or anything. Yeah. Yep. Verna says, Katrina, your doe tearing up her cage was funny. Right after watching it, Smokey tried to get rid of her pea guard. So they're learning. Yeah. Rigatoni has been having attitude problems. She does look kind of skinny, but based on her mood swings and she's actually wanting to be pet more, I think she's pregnant. And if not, I think she thinks she's pregnant because there is such a thing as a false pregnancy in rabbits where they go through all the hormones and all of that and they end up not having babies. But I have a feeling that the next couple of days we're going to see some babies out of her. And it was not funny when I found the ripped up cage. And I don't even know how it must have been loose on one of them. And then she just kept on going. It's funny because there's one piece on Rigatoni's side it looks like the wire has just come loose. The hutches came with my original rabbits, so it's not, I would have designed them a little differently, but they're there, so I use them. But was one piece, and Ravioli had, these are names of rabbits for people that don't know. Ravioli had pulled the wire out. I'm like, wow, that really looks like, it's going to poke her eye out or something. So I put it back, I kind of pressed it back against. She immediately went over and took it with her mouth and put it right back where it was. I'm like, apparently you need to redecorate your own way. She knows it's there, so if she pokes her eye out, it's her own fault. No, but we do need to replace, that portion of the front. So, yeah. Mandy's asking, are we talking long-term or making through a storm? Either. And Steve was the one that came up with the question. I think we can talk about either, but Steve is asking for long-term solution for short-term events like storms. And the same could be said for things like hurricanes. I don't think hurricanes usually happen when it's super, super cold, but Mother Nature's angry right now, so she's bipolar. Yeah. And Andy Rabbit says Dawn's battery and wind hookup is pretty cool. That's awesome. You guys can share some of these things on the Friends of Sow and Tare Facebook group. If I know People don't usually think of this kind of thing as a homestead topic, but it definitely is. Here's the link for the group if you're not a part of it yet. Answer all the questions so that you can get in, because we want to know you're a real person. But yeah, I think it would be helpful for people to see this, and it totally is homestead related, because we're trying to be, and we are succeeding in being more self-sufficient. And part of that is to be prepared. And I'm not of the prepper mentality. Like, not afraid of everything that happens, not that kind of thing. However, I am prepared if, like if we can't go to the grocery store for 3 weeks, like happened at, COVID shutdown, I have food, yeah, that kind of thing. There you go. BC said, when should I start and what should I do first? For what? For what is the question? I don't know what you're talking about, BC. Dawn says, what was the COVID money they handed out? We did the wind generator and batteries on that little handout. Did something good with it. That is good. That's really good. And you thought through that one too. It's good. Fulster Farm says, we have wanted to make a black box with black flexi pipe in it that is covered with clear plexiglass that heats air with the sun. Then you thread it through a window and it's hot. Awesome. I've seen that with like soda cans strung together, painted black. I've seen that. And so then the other thing, this is something that I saw in a house. There's a house in San Jose. So again, San Jose, we get winter, but not like winter. There is there's a house that is, they do all the things they're supposed to do. They don't have shingles on the roof. They painted it white, reflects the heat. They have a sunroom, which has brick on the bottom, red brick. So that attracts heat, right? And then there's the wall between the sunroom and the house actually opens up. So you can open that up on the when the sun is shining. And inside the wall, so the wall is made out of plastic containers filled with water, and the containers are painted black. And the outside wall, this is the wall by the screen, by the sunroom. So the outside wall opens, and then the sun comes in, bounces off the bricks and all that, hits the black water containers and heats up that. So they're individual water containers, so each of them can heat up. And that works great. I've seen this also happen with a barrel in a greenhouse. The people do that. They paint it dark, and water holds a lot more temperature. The temperature flexes less than in the air. Anyway, so then at night times, they close that outside wall and they open the inside wall, and that heat stored in the water, in the black containers, radiates inside the house. So that's another option if you're building a house or building something that's more energy efficient or self-sufficient. It's something that you wouldn't do at an existing house unless you wanted to remodel, but that is something that is very interesting to see. So yeah. PJ says, I tried, but they vetoed every solution I came up with to cheat the system. Wow. Andy says, good investment, Don. Absolutely. Oh, when should you start? You can start right now. Yeah. You can start anytime. And then have a regular. So if you want to do once a week or once every 2 weeks, whatever it is, keep that schedule. And then YouTube recognizes that you're serious about it if you keep a schedule. So yeah, start it now. Verna says, oil lamps will not only light up your place, but give off heat as well. True. Yep. And Volster Farm says, love these off-grid solutions. There's a lot of them. And that's why I think when Steve, when you asked that last week, I'm like, let's just have a whole day to talk about it. We don't want to add it on to this one. Let's just talk about it later because there's a lot you can do. Don says, Andy Rabbit, I hope it was. We haven't used it yet. Thank you, though. I would turn it on and see how it works. Yeah, before winter, because that would be good. we get an afternoon breeze every afternoon that comes from the northwest-ish, like northwest, through, and it happens every day. So some stronger than others, but yeah, it's awesome to have that consistency. Verna says, start up about explaining how to sign up. Yeah, start from the beginning. I guess that's good. Start from the beginning, and go from there and get more complicated as you go. And you can even have playlists. You can have a playlist for this kind, for StreamYard, playlist for Nightbot, playlist for whatever and whatever. That way, if people are looking for things, they can look at more things. Yeah. Andy Rabbit says, just plain candles will help warm a room a little too. A little? How many candles are we talking about? Is this a prayer bench with all the candles? That might warm a room. There's a story, and it's a published story. It's a some folk story that I don't remember what the title is even, but when I was little, my mom had I remember what the name of the book was, but it was a bunch of stories like from all over the world. And it was kind of like the learn lesson stories, but nursery rhyme type stuff. But there was one story that there was two people, and the guy made a bet that the other guy couldn't, he was going to be scared at night, and there wasn't any light. And he bet him that he couldn't stay outside. He couldn't stay outside all night without any light. And he bet him, and if whoever lost would have to make dinner. And so he stayed out all night, and there was a candle in a window of a house way far away. And so the other guy said, well, it wasn't dark. It wasn't fully dark. There was a candle. It wasn't dark. You lost. You have to make dinner. Like, okay. And so he invited the guy over for dinner, and he's in the kitchen, and he comes back out, and, oh yeah, we're working on it. It's cooking. And then he goes back in the kitchen for a little bit, and he comes out. This continued for several hours. And finally, this guy was like, what is this guy doing? Dinner should be ready by now. I'm hungry. Went into the kitchen. Well, there was a candle on the floor, and the stew pot was hung by the ceiling. So just how much difference a candle can make. I like that story. It's probably more interesting if you read the real words, but that's what I remember of it. And I just think that's so funny and applies to so many things. Yeah. So there you go. So they do have heat, but also whenever you have open flame, know how to use it. Make sure you're catching things that's not going on the carpet or on the drapes, or doesn't get knocked over or something like that too. So also, candle safety, do not try and put out a candle or a wax fire with water, because it will go and then catch everything else on fire. So if you have a wax candle, water is not the solution. Something like baking soda, or use a pot lid. If it's an area, use a pot lid, like a cooking stock pot. Yeah, don't use water, because that's a bad idea and you will burn stuff down. All right, let's see what other people say. Propane. Okay. It runs off of propane. And propane, I guess, is not allowed in apartments either, I think. Verna said that a couple weeks ago. But so propane, you would just have to know. And I would either test this or read about it online, or like people's experiences before you get into a situation that you need it, of how much propane you need. So one of those little bottles, how much time does that run through? One of these bigger I don't know, they're called canisters. I don't know what they're called. How long does it take to run through that? Like, how much do you need to store to do that? And someone tell me if I'm right. Propane doesn't expire, right? I think that's right. I could be wrong. Because gasoline does. Gasoline gets old. I think propane doesn't. Somebody tell me if I'm right or wrong. Don says my fireplace is 30,000 BTU, but does only half the house. Which, you know, if you are in a grid down situation, half the house is better than none of the house, right? I know at my parents, they have electric heating, but they also have a fireplace. And here's an idea for those people who do have a fireplace. I don't know. So I think you said yours is gas fireplace, right? I don't know all the safety things. I don't know all legality. I can just tell you what my parents have and what the house used to have. So it's electric heating from vents underneath the house. And there is in the living room in the corner, there is a fireplace. And they have this cool little door. And I should have made a video on it while I was there. I'm going up there for Thanksgiving, so maybe I'll do one then. But they have this cool little door that's right next to the fireplace. And you open it up and it's outside in the wood bin. So there's a, I don't know, it's about probably 4 feet by 3 or 4 feet on a stand outside. So you load the wood into that. And then when you're inside, you get the wood from the inside. You don't have to carry it around. It's an insulated door. How cool is that? That's cool. So they have that. And they have blowers and it's heat driven. So you don't have to have power to it. It's heat driven. So you turn on the blowers and the blower for the heat comes out. I don't know how it gets rid of the smoke or any of that. That's not for me to know. I just know it works. And the heat comes out the blowers in addition to just through the glass or through the, if you have open or closed. But what's interesting, and that got disconnected before we moved there, that we didn't know about until, I don't remember what they had to do, go up in the attic for something. But that was actually, that heat was also piped to go to the heat registers, like to the heat, where the heater puts the heat into a room. It was actually piped through that. So you could heat the whole house from the fireplace, the wood fireplace in the corner, far corner. So that's pretty cool. I don't know the technology of that. I don't know the safety of it. I don't know any of that. It was disconnected and we found out about it, after I moved out. But that's an interesting thing. If for those that have a fireplace, it's an interesting thing to research. Yeah. Oh, JJ has a good idea. Take rocks, heat on outdoors fireplace in a stew pot or a cast iron and bring inside to one area room blocked off from the rest of the house with plastic and blankets. Yes. So you're basically using like spa rocks, right? Or with people who cook. There's a lot of stories of Native people in the US that's how they would cook. You take a river rock and put it into the fire, and then you take it out and put that in your water to boil your water, where you don't put the basket over the fire because it's going to burn. You put the rock that's heated into the water, and that will boil or heat your water or your stew or whatever. So that is a way that people traditionally have used to cook. And that's also a good way to know that you can cook that way as well. So I guess if you have an outdoor fireplace or you have an outdoor fire pit, fire something that you could do that with. That's a really good idea, JJ. See, I knew you guys would have good ideas. Steve says, little buddy uses a 1 pound propane tank like camping. Big buddy uses larger propane tanks like barbecue. Okay, that makes sense. Big and little. That makes sense. And Dawn says, oh yeah, we can't have wood stoves, can't burn trash, but you can burn trees in your yard. So they burn trees for bonfires all summer long here. Yeah. sometimes the rules don't match up. Kind of like when they outlawed the plastic bags in the grocery stores here, which I am in support of because you see them all over the place. And what the heck, guys? You can use a canvas bag or, some other reusable bag. So now they just have thicker plastic bags that are reusable. Yeah, nobody cares. And you still find them everywhere. So that was legislation that was good on paper, but bad in reality because now they're just thicker bags everywhere. Dawn says, I do like rocket stoves. Rocket stoves are good. Rocket stoves are good. And you guys just jumped. Hang on. Oh, I went too far. And JJ says, take water in a large pot, heat on outdoors fire, place inside in one room or area blocked off from the rest of the house. Yeah, that is another good idea. And that is actually an idea to increase your humidity in your house. So when my heater goes on here, it gets really, really dry. And you get, sore, you get the nasal draining and the sore throat. All that stuff comes because it's too dry. And I actually have a whole house humidifier now, which is, it's like this big over there. But what I did before is on top of my register, there's my register. On top of my register, I put a pan of water, and that would do not as much as the whole house humidifier, but it did something. Yeah, it did something. And it definitely raised the humidity. And that has another side on the other side of the wall is the hallway. So, yeah. Yeah. Verna says, and usually propane tanks are not allowed in apartments. Yeah, that's what I just said. Yeah. But again, in an emergency situation, I don't know where you keep it other than that, but yeah. All right. BC's going to start tomorrow with StreamYard. Awesome. Good. PJ says, I baked muffins this morning to raise some heat in the house. Did pretty good too. Yep. Andy Rabbit says, if it's a big, long outage, I will start burning rabbit's poop to stay warm. I didn't think of that because it's mostly plants anyway, right? Yeah. JJ says the more water you have in an area, the longer the area will stay warmer. Exactly. And that's what I was talking about with that house. And I've seen this just to warm greenhouses is they use the big blue barrels, and sometimes they paint them black, but blue probably is enough to have some moisture retention or some heat retention as well. But they have these big barrels of water, and if those big barrels of water heat up during the day, they can dissipate heat overnight. And unless you're in super, super cold weather, it's going to take a lot to freeze one of those big things. And in just the sunlight in a greenhouse will heat that pretty well. So, or enough, unless it's super, super cold. Yeah. Andy Rabbit says, when we burnt it in the yard, the poop had no smell at all. That's good to know. Good to know. Eric's chiming in. I lost my job at the candle factory. They didn't like that I refused to work on weekends. Oh boy. Fulster Farm says, generator and heat lamp from the brooder. Ha! That'll heat the whole bloomin' house, according to my power bill. It will heat a room. That's for sure, right? It'll heat a small room. You can heat the bathroom. Oh boy, that's pretty funny. So that's another thing. I mean, so another thing is, I don't have them over there. For your birds and for your incubators and stuff. Power outage. I've had a power outage here where I had birds hatching, and so I put those hand warmers. You guys have seen me hold them up. I don't know where they are because I put them somewhere else. But those little hand warmers that they're like that big, and you crack them and then you like rub them until they get hot, and they get really hot. Like, don't put it on eggs because it'll bake them, I think. But it'll go in the incubator just fine, and in the brooder as well. So I also had a power outage one time when I had babies that were like a couple days old. And so what I did is I took a cooler and I put the non-slip, I had extra non-slip, that cabinet liner, and I cut it to fit the bottom of the cooler. I boiled some water. You can see the video on how to do that if you have a gas stove, and you can light your stove without the little ignition thing. You turn it and then you use a match or a lighter to light it. And I did do a short on how I did that. The fake brooder, the temporary brooder. But what I did is I filled a milk jug full of hot water. I wrapped it in a towel and I set it into the cooler. Now this was just overnight, so I didn't give them food. I did put one little water thing in there with them. And then I put the birds in there, shut the top. I left it open a little bit. I don't remember what I put in there, like a wooden spoon or something, so they'd get air, and they did the night just fine. So that's another option. Is not necessarily to make your brooder warm, but to move them into an area that can be controlled a little better. Yeah. JJ's laughing at you, Eric. Probably true, JJ says to Mandy. Yep. Oh, Eric, Mandy's laughing at you too. And Verna says, I have a feeling I'm going to have to replace my Rhinola Ranch cages. Uh-oh. Is that the one that you turned upside down and then turned upside down again? Hopefully not. Dawn says, most storms are disasters. You are not going to get candles at stores or oil lantern fuel. In the flood of 1993, we couldn't get 5-gallon water containers nowhere. Mom shipped them from Maine. Wow. So that's another thing, is to keep extra water. Now, I believe I am one of 2 people on my block that does store extra water. And I just have a couple of, I have a couple of like those 5-gallon RV, 10-gallon, 5-gallon. I don't know. The RV ones, the tall, skinny ones. I have those in the garage. Every once in a while, I'll use the water and then refill them. I should probably do that now. And then I have some other smaller ones in there. And it's always good to have clean water because you never know when something's going to happen with water. And I have that mentality from growing up with a well that every once in a while they said that they were doing something. I don't remember why we did it. We always had like a gallon of water underneath the sink. I don't think my parents do that anymore. You should do it. But that's a good idea. And then I also have my pond, right? So if it came down to it, I do have my pond, and I do have, my Brita filter. It's a carbon filter. You could do that, or boil it too. Yeah. And Andy Rabbit says, careful when rabbits are pulling on their cages wire, they can pull their teeth out of alignment. Give them something to chew on instead. Well, I put in their nest boxes, so she has plenty of stuff to chew on. The nest box itself and the hay. So yeah, I didn't think about that, but yeah, she was just like, I don't know. She's definitely having some hormonal issues, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Bob says, I remember seeing someone use a can of Crisco vegetable oil for light and some heat too. Big can burns for days. Interesting. I mean, it's just fat, right? Yeah. Yeah, so Donna's saying to Verna, oh no, why? About the cages. Oh no, too. Oh, moving them around today, it seems they're getting weak in the legs. Maybe it's time to tighten some things, maybe. Hopefully that's all it is. JJ says, seed starter mats make less watts if using an electric generator. That is a really good idea. That's a really good idea. I have heard of people that use seed starting mats in their brooders and are successful with it. I don't know anybody personally that does that, but I've heard of it. And I know I sold some birds, some little birds, to a lady that was driving several hours, and she actually brought like a hot water bottle, you know, those kind of rubberized ones, and they just snuggled right down on it, and they were super warm, and they're happy they made it. They all made it. I should probably check in with her and see how they're doing. Yeah. All right. BC says, I just requested to join the group after I answered the questions. Awesome. I will be accepting things after this live. PJ says, I was prepared to be, let me try that again. I was prepared, but got vetoed. No wood fireplace, no heated camper, but can go camping in it. You can go camping in your camper, but you can't go camping in your camper at your house. Is that what I'm hearing? That's odd. JJ says, I hear igloos heat very good with just a wick in oil. Yeah, you have to have snow to make an igloo. Right? Yep. And Fulster Farm says, yes, soda can to heat. Yep. I saw that. I forget where I saw it. I didn't see it in person. I saw it on a video like years ago. It's kind of funny when you have these conversations, what gets jogged in your memory. Yeah. Dawn says, oh no, aren't they stainless steel legs too? Maybe they're just getting loose. Yeah, I'm hoping that maybe they just need some tightening because, yeah. Eric, is there a second part? Eric says, why are hurricanes usually named after women? Because I think we're missing the second part. Bob says, Big Buddy holds 2 tanks, or you can get a hose or regulator to connect to a 5-gallon tank. So that's exactly what I'm talking about, is making sure you have those connections already, and that you know where they are, or they're already connected. Sometimes you just need to keep something connected to where it belongs, right? JJ says, yes, the beer cans, soda cans can also be substituted with metal pipes painted black. Yep. Another thing you can do for hot water is, just like people do solar shadows. My mouth wasn't working today, guys. Solar showers is you coil a dark, black, right? A black garden hose on top of a roof and have water in it. And then that will heat up the water in that, and then it'll be able to come out. So that will work just by solar. And yeah, it'll work. Rhoda says they are hollow legs and both are 3-tier. Okay, I gotta, because they are not hemicanes. Oh, I got it. Hurricanes and hemicanes. I got it. Missed the punchline. Sorry. Fulster Farm says, oh, compressed earth house is so awesome. Like an earth ship house. Yeah, so the other option you have, I mean, it's not going to fix your house right now, but the other option you have is to build something that will stay a steady temperature. What am I doing myself with all these tongue twisters? And so you're talking about like the earth bagged house, that kind of thing, or just earthen house. So like caves often they will stay at a certain temperature. I mean, ice caves are icy, but certain caves, depending on where they are and how much insulation they are from the ground and all that, they'll stay at a pretty constant temperature. So that's another good thing if you're designing something, not if you're just have a power outage. Yeah, so Steve, that's if you have a really long power outage, build an earth house. Is what I'm hearing Mandy say. I'm teasing. Andy Rabbit says, I have a candle stockpile. Every time I have the incubator running, I seem to buy a few more candles. LOL. Because that's the only time I lose power. Yes, it happened again on this setting on Wednesday and Thursday. I started saving eggs to incubate, but I got a notice from PG&E that we're having a power outage pre-planned on the 30th from 9 to 3. And I'm confident that I could at that point put hand warmers in and maintain a temperature. But the other part of me is going, but do I want to? Like, isn't it just going to be easier just to start after that? Yeah. So speaking of which, the 30th, next Monday, we're going to have a special guest. And there is a video coming out tomorrow all about the special guest and what he has to offer. And he is in the Friends of Sow and Tare. So there's your clues. I think probably no one on here knows what I'm talking about, except for that person if they're on here. So, yeah, tomorrow you're going to want to watch tomorrow's video, and you're definitely going to want to spread that one around if you think someone will find it useful. And also attend next week's live. I want to kind of boost that up and see if we can get more people to attend, because I think it's a really exciting thing. And once you watch tomorrow's, you're going to know the topic for next week, because it's a guest speaker. So since I had said the 30th, I figured I would plug that, and you guys will know what I'm talking about tomorrow. You've got to wait. Okay. Bob says the Earthship community near Taos do the water tank falls for heat. Water tank walls. I don't know why I said water tank falls. Yeah, the water tank walls. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I really do. Yeah. Uh-oh. Eric, what's something that makes Eric go quiet? Food. Gotta have dinner now. Going silent now. That is all right. We'll be here still. All right. Have a good dinner. Fulster Farm says to Bob, I would be on board with building one of those. Mandy, I think you have the room, don't you? Don't you have room to do like a guest house or something? I have no idea what permits are for that, but that's not the question we're asking right now. Yeah, Don says Severna. Oh, no, that's not good. Yeah. Orlando, welcome. And you already have a question, so we're going to answer it. I was going to say you can put your questions in the chat, but we already have a question. Game bird feed 16% is good for laying quails. I'm going to guess that means. Yep. So when they are babies, when they're young, they need a higher protein and a lower calcium than the adults. And the adults are completely fine with a higher protein as long as they get that calcium. So like right now, I have some babies in the main aviary with the adults. So everybody's eating baby food. Now, what does baby food look like to me? In my area, what I can get is 27% turkey starter. We're talking about quail now. We switch topics. We might come back to weather soon. But it's 27% protein turkey starter crumble is what I have everybody on in that aviary, because you're not going to stop them from eating each other's food. So you just change over everybody. But I do also have a calcium grit. It's a limestone grit for the ladies that need it, and they can have it on the side and they can get it when they need it, and it's good. So that is what I use. For the babies, 0 to 8 weeks is a crumble. It's a starter crumble. That's a high protein. There's higher protein out there that's really good. I just use what my local, I think it's like 3 hours away, but local one is. And crumble is best for the little guys. You can use mini pellets or pellets for the big ones. The big pellets, they're going to waste more because they're going to fling them, but they get really excited when they have crumble and they find a pellet. They get really excited. It's really funny. But from 8 weeks, so the 8th week, you want to transfer, kind of mix it together with that 16% laying or whatever you're doing for the laying. I feed mine the same thing I feed my chickens. So it is a 16% layer crumble, and it's the same thing that I feed the chickens. I still give them calcium on the side. They have grit, and grit will increase their nutrient uptake as well. And I have mine in aviary, so that's good. But yeah, game bird feed. I don't know what is in game bird feed, but it is, if it's what you would feed a chicken for laying, if it's a layer feed, usually it's called layer feed usually when you get it. But I'm going to actually reference you. I don't know. Verna, are you able to bring up My Shire's video link? If not, I can put it on the Friends of Sow and Tare after this. But their video link of the one where they have the tag, they have like what the ranges are they're supposed to do. My Shire Farm has a really good video describing the ranges of what birds need, and you can take that into your feed store and say, I need something in this range. And that's ideal, right? You don't need ideal in a home situation. You want to get close to ideal. But if you're close to ideal, then that's fine. So I would say make sure it's a layer feed, because that will have the calcium in it. And if Verna can find it, there'll be a link on here. If not, join the Friends of Sow and Tare Facebook group, which I am putting in the chat right now. Answer the questions so we know you're a real person. And I will put that video in there if she doesn't put it in here in the chat. Thank you, Verna, ahead of time. And if you're not looking, that's also fine. Thank you as well. Yeah, so hopefully that answered your question. Steve, stop messing with people. Yeah, Verna says, do you mean adults or chicks? I think he's meaning laying quails for the adults. Yeah. Yeah, adult. Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of go down and see. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Yep. All right. So Dawn says the wind generator runs constant charging with the batteries, etc. Can hook solar panels to the battery bank too. Sun does not shine here in winter and storms though. Useless for sun. And that's why I made that caveat, because I know like some places you just don't see the sun, and some places often you'll see it, often you won't, and it might be a viable option to have to get more power. Yeah. Okay, so Verna has answer for Orlando. Yes, it is good, but why use the more expensive feed when you can use chicken feed? Is cheaper. And Steve says, I feed a 16% chicken layer crumble. They won't stop laying. Yeah, so that's what I do, is a 16% chicken layer crumble. And I do offer them grit. And you can offer them granite grit, which is the chick grit kind of stuff. Or you can offer them lots of different things. But I do the limestone grit because it's calcium as well. So that's good. BC's going to start tomorrow. Awesome. Good. Fulster Farms. Ooh, cool story. All about perspective, isn't it? Is that the candle story? Yes, it is. It really is. Yeah. JJ says, worst case, everyone get into a tent inside the house and use old water bottles filled with hot water from camping fire, grill outside, cover tent and people with blankets, and play card games to kill time. Yep. So another thing that would help in that scenario is space blankets, which you can never get back into the container they came from. If you put a space blanket, so I've camped in colder conditions, not super cold, but like at Joshua Tree when it's in the like Thanksgiving time, it gets cold in the desert. And if you sleep with a space blanket underneath you, between you and the ground, or between you and the pad, that will actually take your heat and reflect it back to you instead of having your heat go into the ground or into the pad. So that's another just how to keep warm camping thing. Another thing to keep to think about, and this is because of camping and backpacking that I know these things, is to change your clothes. So if you're bundled up all the time, you are sweating. You're going to sweat. It's a human condition. Some of us more than others. And if you are sweating, but specifically like your feet too, like your whole body, but if you're sweating and you're cold, you're going to be colder because you're wet. So it's important to change your clothes, make sure you're dry. You know, when you get into your sleeping bag, you take off your socks, you go like this with your feet for a while, just make sure they're all aired out and all dry. Because if you put just a little moist feet in your bag, in your sleeping bag, you will be cold. If they're dry and cold, they will warm up. If they're moist and cold, then they're going to stay really cold and keep you cold. So that's another thing. And the same thing goes with your clothes. People just don't think about it with their socks sometimes. Like they take off their boots and then they put, they change and then they put their sweaty feet in. So that's something else to deal with. And Verna says, always cover the flame for a candle. Yep. No water. And PJ says, wax candle, lick fingers, pinch. Yes. There you go. And Verna says, don't blow it either. You might blow off cinders into other flammable items. Yep. That's why they have those candle snuffers. Yeah. Oh, and Fulster Farm says, not flour either. It will make a fire cloud. Is this experience talking? Are we talking all about experiences? And JJ says, LOL, Fulster Farms. How do you know that? LOL. Oh my goodness. Mandy. So PJ has an answer on the propane. Propane doesn't expire unless there is a leak. Proof it's gone. Oh, poof, it's gone. Yeah. And doesn't it go bad or expire? Steve says, I thought I was right on that. But whenever I think I know something and I don't know where I know it from, I always ask someone to check me because I don't want to spread things that aren't true. I'd rather someone say, what are you talking about? Than have you guys all go, oh yeah, that's true. Got PJ laughing too. And Dawn says, oh, that door is cool. What door? I don't know what you're talking about. That's okay. What door were we talking about? I don't know. Fulster says, that is a great dry wood feature. I would do that. Oh, the door to the, I got it. The door to the wood. Got it. I remembered what we were talking about like 20 minutes ago. Okay. So Mandy says that is a great dry wood feature. I would do that if building a house. I think you could probably retrofit that pretty easily because I think it would have the same requirements as a window. And you could probably do that because basically the requirements of the window are you have to keep the rest of the house up. So you have to like have the header so that the top stays up, right? So I think you would do the same thing, and instead of a window, you actually have an insulated door. So I think you can do it. Yeah. And Dawn says, have a good night. Time to get off for the night, but good topic, Katrina. Thank you for coming. Good night. Yeah, it was it's a good topic. Thanks to Steve. Thanks, Steve, for that one. Yeah. Have a good night. Everybody saying good night. Steve says, have air vents under the fireplace and it goes up as it starts heating up the air inside the fireplace. It moves up, pulls heat naturally from the lower level and expels it out the top. Like the... I don't know where you said the rest of it. Mandy says there is a great older YouTube video about a rammed earth home in Hawaii that I would kill to have. It's gorgeous and energy efficient. Awesome. Dawn says, saw prepper set concrete blocks and use candles to heat those blocks to cook in a skillet inside the house. It was great. There's all sorts of stuff you can do. Use all sorts of stuff. Yeah. And Andy said that's a cool idea, Dawn. Absolutely. Bob, getting fancy here. You designed a house for my mom back in the early 90s and added an air-to-air heat exchanger in the chimney or flue and connected it to central HVAC unit. Easy peasy. Awesome. Bob, if I need to build a house, I'm going to come bug you. No, that is awesome. And it's something to think about for sure. Yeah. Folster Farm says, rocket stove for the win. And Don says, I saw that long ago. Very cool. Yeah. And Verna says, many laws look good on paper, but it's not good in reality. Well, it looks good on paper, and the execution is not what the people thought it was going to be when it was written. I think that's what happened with the bags. Is they're like, oh, they're permanent bags. It's like, no, they're just thick plastic bags. Yeah. Steve says, I buy lunch meat in plastic, cheese in plastic, and bread in plastic so I can put them in a paper bag to carry home. Dawn says, I gotta go. Good night for the second time. Hard to leave tonight. It's a good conversation, isn't it? See why I wanted this to be like a full conversation? Uh-oh. Verna says, shh, Katrina, I have to put mine. Okay. You got a shock from the sink. Oh my gosh. All right. JJ says, I once used those Kroger plastic bags for insulation during a desperate time after a neighbor stole my insulation out of my crawl space. JJ, you have led an interesting life. Goodness. Wow. That is crazy. That is very crazy. Everybody's saying night to dawn again. Steve says, if you have a regular heat furnace, put a pan of water on top of the furnace. Does the same. That's exactly what I used to do here before I had the whole house humidifier. Yeah. Verna says, my heat isn't on long enough for that to work. Yeah, well, you're on the second floor, right? So that's another thing is if you live above someone, their heat can heat you too, right? Steve is asking, do you even turn your heat on? I know you don't do AC. I don't have AC. I don't have wall insulation. Yeah, I do turn the heat on. I tend to keep it pretty low since Manuel has been here. It's a little higher, but yeah, it does go on. I mean, it does get cold here. It gets down, like I said, it's gotten down to 22 degrees. That's cool enough to put the heater on. And if you want brooder plates to work, which is what I use with my quail, the plates, it has to be at least 55 degrees in the room for those to work. So that's something to consider as well if you're relying on those. Yeah. And JJ says hot hands are a good idea. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I've used them and they work. I used 4 of them in my incubator and it maintained temperature. I probably could have done 3 and it would have been fine. For the Hovabator. Yeah. And Verna says, yes, my heat is on. Heat is on. Sorry, can't sing in here, can I? Andy Rabbit says, when I go to my dad's in winter, the first few days, I can't get the travel trailer warm enough. I have learned to just turn the crock pot on full of water for a while, then it warms up nicely. Yeah. The older one. I didn't know what you're talking about. It's been too long. Okay. The older, I got it. The Winola Ranch, the older one. Got it. And maybe you can get new legs from them, like Andy Rabbit says. That's true. Yeah, it doesn't hurt to ask. It doesn't hurt to ask. And I mean, yeah, for sure. Fulcher Farm says, I actually have quarts of pressure canned water in my pantry, good for emergencies, and also is sterile if you have to do a small surgery. So, Mandy, that's actually something that I recommended. I don't think, Aaron, you ever did it, did you? You guys just went straight to pressure canning. Aaron was talking about, he was a little trepidatious about pressure canning. And I told him, practice with water because you're going to have sterile water in the end and it's fine. And so that's another thing. If you are pressure canning something and you don't have enough to fill it up, if you pressure can water, it's going to work more efficiently because the space is filled. So think about, like, if your freezer is full, it works more efficiently. If your refrigerator is full, it works more efficiently. If your pressure can is full, it also works more efficiently. So, yeah, so it's a good idea. It's not something I would do just to do. You could do it just to do it if you had a bigger pantry than my non-existent pantry. But if you wanted to do it because you have spaces to fill, that's how I would do it. Not saying it's bad to have that. It's definitely good to have sterile water, for sure. JJ says, growing up in the snow belt, I was strictly taught to prep for winter. Absolutely. Food, water, meds, heat, light. Now I just prep for the whole year. Yeah. Yep. Ed says, if you are going to store gas, use this, not the red colored stuff. The blue lasts much longer. You said this before. It's marine ethanol. STABIL 360 marine ethanol treatment and fuel stabilizer. You've said that before. And so every time I'm gonna be like, oh, Ed said something. I don't remember which one's which. That's what it is, right? Because I do remember you saying that. Mandy says, this is such a great topic tonight. Dang it, I gotta go too. Y'all have a great night. See you on Facebook. We will see you on Facebook. All right. Everybody stand by. And PJ says, yes, no camping on my property. In my camper as of today. So weird. Yeah, that is weird. That is very weird. So weird. Why would it be unsafe there and safe in a campground? I don't know. Andy Rabbit says, right, JJ, now it's prep for any time, not able to get to the store, like car breaks down, loss of paycheck, job, surgery, any other kinds of stuck at home. I mean, with COVID, we were stuck at home for 3 weeks, that first little bit. And I mean, I hope that doesn't happen again, but I would hope that people learn from that and are prepared in case it happens again. Yeah. Ed has a good idea for PJ. Camp on your neighbor's land. I don't think it works that way. I wonder if you could open a campground. PJ, there's a thing called, somebody tell me what it is. It's for farmers that people can come and camp on their land and learn how to harvest. I know Mandy knew what it was called. I don't remember. I don't know if anybody else does, but there's an actual program for that. You could sign up for that, and if you're an approved campground, maybe they would let you do it. Come on, we gotta look at all the rules, the ways to get around rules, PJ. Yeah. PJ says, with their cows, LOL. At least I have electric and water on my property. Okay. JJ says, yep, Andy, we also prepped the trucks of autos. Oh my gosh, sleeping bags, sandbags, lights, shovels, chains, food with water, extra fire, extra coats, stuffed full for a large family. Wow. Yeah, we didn't go to that extent. We always had, we always had chains and for the tires, and we always had, extra towels in there to lay down on to do the chains and snacks, stuff like that. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Eric, you are following up this way too late. Okay, the thing is, why are hurricanes named after women, I believe, right? Because when they come there, usually Oh boy. They take your car with them. All right. Ed says just ate freeze-dried pre-cooked chicken from January. Just as good as the day I put in the freeze dryer. Awesome. It did get cut off. That's okay. It only allows you to say like 200 words. I know sometimes I always try and like reword things, and I'm like, does that really make sense? I comment on other people's. Yeah. JJ's laughing at PJ, swapping camping places with neighbors with cows. Andy Rabbit says Katrina 9-3. Oh, 9-3 is nothing for eggs in an incubator. LOL, they will still be fine. Yeah, I'm sure they will be. What I'm doing though is I have Brincias that I want to test. And I don't want to do a test when the power goes out. Maybe I should do a test when the power goes out. But yeah, there we go. PJ says, night all, great talk tonight. Good night, PJ. I know you got to get up early in the morning. And thanks for sharing your wisdom. All right. Buster says, stay safe, PJ. Absolutely. I hope your furnace gets worked on soon. And Andy Rabbit says, I used to keep stuff in my trunk, had a bottle of water till one day, about 6 months of water being in the trunk, I drank some. It tasted just like gas. At one point, I had a gas jug for flame box. Oh, Andy, it is important that you do switch out your water. Water does get stale. I know it doesn't. It seems weird that water might go bad, but it changes. It changes, and yeah. Maybe be careful of what container you're filling up next time. Oh boy. Eric says, I just read a hilarious rabbit joke, but I'm unsure if it's appropriate. Okay, I don't know. All right. And okay, so Verna's looking up. That is, that's how I show. I don't know how to do that. But I can't copy it and open it. That's weird. Anyway, that is the link for the video, Orlando. She did put it there. So hopefully you were still on when she put it there for the MyShire feed video. Thank you, Verna. I knew you would know where to look for it. You drank half of the bottle? Oh my gosh, Andy. I agree with JJ. Ick. The Buster says, Andy, that wasn't good. Yeah, no. And Verna says, my newest chicks are starting to lay at 5 weeks. Wow. Andy Rabbit. Yeah, it was nasty. But you lived? Yeah, I bet. JJ says, glad you're still alive and that you didn't smoke. There you go. Steve says, if my new chicks start laying, I'm going to put them all in the freezer. I don't need any more eggs. Uh-oh. Bob is asking Mandy, dry wood. Hope you're not talking about adobe. It is not wood at all. No, so Bob, she's talking, I believe she was talking about the door that I was talking about in my parents' place. It's right next to the fireplace, and it's a door to the outside. It's insulated, and you open it up, and it goes to the wood box, which is right there. So you can fill the wood box on the outside of the house and then get the wood from the inside of the house. I think that's what she was talking about. Yeah, I should do a video on that when I go up there. Again, I should have done that now. I think it's a really good idea. Andy Rabbit says, I'm sure the water would have put the fire out. Body heat helps too. That is true, Steve. That is true. Berna's blaming me. It's all because of Katrina that I bought a case of the large hand warmers. There you go. JJ's laughing at Andy Rabbit. I don't think that water would have put out a fire. Oh, it absorbed the smell, not the gas. Oh boy. Yeah, always good to check. Always good to check. And Andy says I don't trust bottled water at all. I mean, you taste the plastic. Yeah. Yeah. And plastic absorbs it and passes the water. Yeah. Plastic is porous. I mean it yeah. And Steve says water bottles have expiration dates. The water does not expire, the plastic expires. Well, I think the water is affected by the plastic though. For sure. Bob saying good night. Good night, Bob. And Andy Rabbit says it was a plastic bag. It's wrapped in from the factory still, and every bottle smelled like gas. Yeah, that's nasty. And Verna says bottled water, if left in the sun during transportation or any other reason, the bottles leak plastic into the water. Absolutely. Absolutely. Or in a hot car. Yeah, for sure. All right. Eric has a joke. A priest, a pastor, and a rabbit walked into a blood donation clinic. The nurse said to the rabbit, "What is your blood type?" The rabbit said, "I'm probably type O." I've heard that one before. I've heard it. Andy Rabbit says, Steve, can you imagine what else the water absorbs every day? Just imagine if someone farts in the bottled water section of the store in the truck. Andy Rabbit, we don't need this. We don't need this information. And Steve says he'll be careful next time he's in the aisle. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Andy. Yeah, Verna says I keep my heat down to 68 degrees. If I'm here by myself, I keep it at 65. I don't get that cold, and I think putting on a sweatshirt is fine. But yeah, if my parents are here, we turn it up to 72. Yeah. Verna says, and my apartment is drafty, and I have an exhaust fan in the window. Yeah, so I don't have wall insulation. I keep meaning to do it, but then time keeps going by, and then I don't want to get it during the winter because I think it's more expensive in the winter. But it does sap the heat out the wall pretty. I mean, you can feel drafts in certain places, so that's for sure something that happens. I should actually get insulated, but now time, money. Steve says I'm 62 in the winter and 80 in the summer. Yep. I mean, age changes, Steve. You feel older in the summer? I'm teasing. Andy Rat says, yeah, so same thing. Dang, Steve, your age sure jumps. Oh, that's exactly what I was thinking. JJ says that she once stayed 39 for 5 years. That's impressive. That's impressive. Oh, Andy's asking Verna to explain her abbreviation. GMTA, Great Minds Think Alike. See, Verna, you need to write a book. Write that book. Oh boy. Steve says my mom was 29 until I was 33. That's impressive. That's impressive. Smart mom, JJ says, oh my gosh. Gidra's Family Farm. Christina says, I love that electric canner we got. I use it a few times a week. That's good. I still have my reservations about electric pressure canners, but if it's working for you, that's good. All right. And Christina says, if you sent a group request during the live, I went ahead and approved you. Oh, awesome. So Gidra's Family Farm is Christina, and she is an admin on my Facebook group, the Friends of Sow and Tare Facebook group. So thank you for doing that. Yeah. Yeah, JJ, interns will camp on farms. Don't camp, just live. So harvest camp. Harvest camp is what I was thinking. 200 letters, not words. You're right, Verna. You're right. Yeah, harvest camp is what I'm thinking of. But then you can also have woofers if you're, I don't know if it's only organic farm or woofers. I don't remember how you say it. But yeah, if you get signed up for that, maybe they'll let you do it. Thank you, Steve. And JJ says, best, oops. Hang on, you jumped. Best test when power goes out, hit main switch to the house and see if you can find a flashlight in the dark. True. Find one that's not on your phone. There you go. I see drills in you guys' future. You're just going to be turning off lights everywhere and saying, haha, find what you need. Yeah, extra points, right? JJ, PS, the flashlight has to work too. Yeah, exactly. Andy Rabbit says, oh, a test with power outage is a good idea. If you're just testing anyway, you'll know for the day it really happens. I have it happen so much I don't even think about it anymore. Just say no biggie. They will still hatch. Oh boy. Okay, so Verna says the window that we see in her lives is a north-facing window. So that's the cold side of the building. Yeah. Andy Rabbit, I don't know why you're sorry, but it's okay. Yeah. I don't know why you're sorry. Steve says when our lights go out, we don't know right away. We have light bulbs that stay lit when the power goes off. Interesting. Oh, the water aisle. It's okay. That is interesting. So how long do they stay on? And like, how does that work? Yeah, I would like to know. Last power outage. Verna's still laughing. Last power outage, the power company searching for the down line turned around at our house and went back up the street. We're lit. Oh no. They thought that your house had power and it didn't. How long does it stay on after? I want to know that. And so, like, if you just never turn off the light, will it stay on? That's a good question. Yeah, that's interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, last power outage we had here. We had 2 power outages. Well, actually, we had one more recently that wasn't very long. But last winter we had 2 power outages that were about and a little more than 8 hours long. And those were both times I had to do things with the babies. So one time it was putting hand warmers in the incubator, and the other time it was putting the babies into the cooler with the hot water. Yeah. Verna says, I think 12 hours at least. That was how long the old ones lasted. Interesting. I didn't even know that existed. Yeah, I did not even know that existed. But we had a lot of down trees last year. And like I said, I think on the last live, I think we're going to have probably a repeat. Just, I have a feeling about it. I don't have anything to base that on other than I have a feeling. And it's kind of funny. At some point, you're like, haven't all the weak trees fallen yet? It's like with all the fires. Haven't everything that is going to burn yet? No, the answer is no. There's always more. So, yeah. Anyway, there you go. So I hope everybody enjoyed this talk. I think we've had a lot of interaction on this topic, which is really good. I enjoy the interaction and the input. We learned a lot, I think. A lot of different options. Steve, do you think your question is answered now? Let's see. Andy Rabbit says, the only setting I didn't lose power on was the one I brought home from QuailCon. I set eggs to hatch on Halloween and lost power. Though I thought it was a streak. Oh, I thought the streak was broken. I was wrong. Yep. Verna says, Rabbit loves maple leaves that have turned and fallen. Good as long as they are not dried and brown. Interesting. Buster says, enjoyed the live. Good. And Steve says, something in the bulb, if you turn it off, they go off that measures With a ground, they last about 4 hours. Okay. JJ says, thank you, Katrina. I learned a ton, including not to put water near Steve or gas. I mean, it wasn't the goal of the little chat, but it's okay. Yeah, that's funny. That's really funny. All right. You guys are silly. That's good. So yeah, tomorrow there is a video that you guys are going to want to watch. I think especially JJ is going to appreciate it, and Verna will appreciate it. Probably others in here. Those are the two that I think are going to appreciate it most. We'll see. You guys have any guesses? But there is a really cool video tomorrow, and then that person is going to be a special guest next Monday. So if you guys can help spread tomorrow's video around, and that we have a live chat with this guest next Monday, that will be awesome. And hopefully we'll have a lot of people to ask this person a lot of good questions, because I'm excited about that. There we go. And there we go. When is it? So there's a video tomorrow that's coming out, and then it's coming out in the morning, like all the other videos. And then on Monday, same time, 6 p.m. Pacific time, is the other live. So that is that's it. I know I'm leaving you guys hanging, but I want it to be a surprise. I think it's going to be really cool. So there you go. All right, guys, I'm going to head offline unless you guys have other pressing matters or questions. Verna's saying cool. JJ saying looking forward to it. All right. Oh, you already got secret information. Yeah. Yeah, secret information is let's see what I can say without giving it away. I mean, it's not that important. It's going to come out in less than 12 hours. But yeah, it has to do with fun things. And yeah, I don't know. We don't get any special clues. You learn what to do with junk mail. Yes, my mom and her junk mail. I actually do that for my worms, but I shred it. I learned that with my system with worms, if I just tear it up, it doesn't happen as quickly. But I am also in a very contained area where there's a big area. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you enjoyed that. That's really good. That's really good. Those that don't understand, that was a video from yesterday about the way my mom composts things. Yep. Feed that to the worms. Yep, that's it. Eric says, have you ever eaten durian? I have, as recently as at the Heirloom Expo. I have. It smells like a gas leak. Verna says it smells like dirty old sweaty socks, but tastes good. I don't think I think it smells like a gas leak. Yeah, so I sat in on a ethnobotany class, and actually taught one of the labs and made elderberry jelly in that class. But I sat in on a class when I was in college, and the professor, he's such a high energy guy, and he loves plants. Like, he loves plants. And he you know how there's different types of fruit, and like not apple, not banana, but like a pome and a berry. Like, there's different types, like I can't say that word right now. Anyway, and so what he did for the test was he actually had a fruit salad, and the fruit salad was the test, and it had lots of different fruits in it, and he made sure everybody got a little of everything. And your test was you had to name at least so many types of fruit, not like the common name, but the like type of fruit. And so that was pretty cool. Anyway, and durian was something that we tried in that class. So I've tried it there, and I had a couple other times. So it's interesting. It's interesting. All right, JJ says junk mail can be rolled into fire logs. Just saying. We're on the path of fire, JJ. Oh boy. Oh boy. It'll be interesting to see what you guys come up with on the Facebook group for this conversation. Jackfruit is good only if it's ripe. I've had it when it's not ripe and it's not good. So it is good when ripe, for sure. For sure. Yeah. Did you just have durian, Eric? I don't know what kind of fruit durian is. And I don't remember a whole lot of that, to be honest. I think a banana is a berry, I think, officially. Could be wrong. But like strawberry is the seed. What we see as a seed is actual fruit. And what we see as a strawberry is auxiliary material. It's not the fruit. So yeah, here we go. Andy Rat says, I had the water go with the gas leak fruit. Oh boy. And Verna says dryer lint and petroleum jelly and old toilet tissue tubes can be used as fire starters. Yep. We made in Girl Scouts, we made tuna fish cans and cardboard, I think was the thing. Why am I thinking we used dryer lint? That might have been something else. But we used tuna fish cans and cardboard, and I think it was wax. But that was a heater, and we could heat water over that. If you put that under, I think we put that under a terracotta pot as well. Yeah. Oh, you had durian cake. I've never had anything made out of durian. I just had durian. That's interesting. Steve says, thanks to its particular and pungent smell, which can linger for days, many airport won't allow you to bring them on airports or online. Okay. Durian cream cake. Yeah, I like most fruits. I don't like mango and I don't like guava. I love how guava smells, but I don't like it. And I think there's probably some varieties of mango or guava like that are special varieties that are good, that are not in the store, that I might, if I would try it and see if I like it. But I know I don't like either one of those. And I don't know why, but guava smells really good, but I don't like how it tastes. So I don't know. It smells so bad. JJ says, in West Virginia, it's illegal to eat ramps before going to school. What? Seriously? I've never had ramps. But ramps is like a wild onion, right? I've never had ramps. Berna, you're trying to be Eric and it's not working. Wouldn't eating ramps be hard on your teeth? Ramps are it's like a wild onion, I think. What? No ramps and scrambled eggs? Steve says. JJ says, LOL, they smell very bad but are delicious. You didn't know what a ramp was. Yep. Yep, I figured that. I've never had them. I've never seen them. I know they exist. So maybe I've seen them. I don't know. But there is a wild onion. There is a wild onion near where I grew up in the high desert. It's just called wild onion. And it has a little pink flower, flowers like that. And I have had that. It tastes like an onion. But I'm not really an onion fan, so I didn't continue. Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. That's the first thing that came to your mind, Steve? Yeah. No, onions or ramps are they're an allium, I believe. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm going to say it's bedtime. And, well, I've got to eat dinner first. But I'm going to say good night. And I hope we answered some good questions. We had some good involvement and had some good information. I mean, we should write a book on just this conversation, right? All right. I will talk to you guys later. I hope you enjoy the video tomorrow. And yeah, there we go. We have stuff going on. And make sure you share that video for tomorrow and come to the live chat on next Monday, because it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a little different format because we're going to have a guest, but it'll be fun. All right. Good night. I hope you guys had a good time and have a good week. And I hope everybody's safe and continues to be safe. All right. Good night, guys.